What is your weirdest experience while going to the gym? Red hoodie guy would come into the gym always wearing the same red hoodie. He would hit the treadmill at 8-10 mph and just go. He could keep this pace for 30 minutes. But never seemed to get exhausted. Here's where it gets weird, he must have had headphones on under the hoodie because he would air guitar and headbang the entire time. Imagine a guy running at full tilt while shredding on an air guitar. Non-stop. For half an hour. Not breathing heavily or grunting. Before abruptly stopping and walking out of the gym. Saw a guy on a stair climber wearing sunglasses and a leather jacket. I accidentally put my number code into another lock that was beside mine. Botched the last number and the lock actually opened. 1, 2, 3, 4? That's the same as my luggage code. I got literally flexed on. I saw a girl who I mistook as somebody I knew. Went to say hi. She was cool about it. Said it's happened before. Then a guy came over and said something going on here. And literally just flexed. I've never had a bad experience at the gym before. But this dude was above and beyond. Always see them together now. Dude must have some redeeming qualities about him. I hate to run. But run about a mile a day at a 10 mile pace before I go and do weights. Like. I hate it so much I wish for a heart attack to take me away at about minute 4. Any case. The treadmills at our gyms have big timers on them that are easy to read. I get on the treadmill one day and see that the guy beside me is running a 5k, a preset on the machine, and has been on for about 4 minutes. But he's going fast. Like full out sprint. I punch in my 12 minutes, 10-minute mile plus 2-minute cooldown, and start to run. We finish at the same time. Dude ran a 5k in about 16 minutes. Full on sprint the whole time. I was just kinda in a daze thinking about it for the rest of my workout. I remember a guy would spit and lick his hands before lifting weights or using machines and wouldn't clean it afterwards. Then even weirder, he would straight up moan like he was F-king while lifting the heavier weights. It was weird and gross. A guy at a very nice luxury gym was not just dropping his squats. He was actively throwing them up and letting them drop 4+ feet to the safety rack, causing a ridiculously loud sound and a crash. When I asked him to stop, he was extremely aggressive and rude and said he had been a member for 10 years. Sir. Not sure about going to the gym, but while at the gym just a couple of weeks ago, this guy calls across the gym to another guy and says, "I can smell you from here. Do you play lacrosse?" To which he replied, "I played when I was younger." First guy says, "That's what I thought. You smell like dry cum." There were probably 12 people in the gym. So random. I was on the treadmill waiting for the only squat rack to open up. A guy was holding it up talking to some other guy. And they talked for like 15 minutes. I was about to ask if I could work in. And then they started praying. Other guy put his head down. And squat guy put his hands on other guy's shoulders and started praying and doing that loud huffing between sentences Southern Baptist preachers do. And then another guy walked up to get in on the action. At the loaded squat rack. I just went and worked my legs on the machines. Lord. Old man jerking off in the shower. I don't use open locker rooms anymore. Did he dry his ballsack and taint with the hairdryer afterwards? All while completely naked. Making eye contact with everyone in the locker room? Because if so, I think we went to the same gym. Ran the treadmill next to a middle-aged man in a full Santa Claus outfit. Beard and all. It was the 21st of February. The woman who was hanging out in the locker room in her underwear. She was there when I came in. And still there an hour later. Someone told me she was probably an IG model doing a selfie photoshoot. I'm pretty sure at the Imca where I used to work there were old dudes who came just to be naked in the locker room. There was no sauna or steam room in the locker room. Just lockers, changing area, bathroom, sinks, showers. I'd get there an hour or so before my shift, lifeguarding, to work out. Old naked dude in the locker room. I'd finish my workout and go to shower and change into my lifeguard stuff. Same old naked dude still there. I'd go to the locker room to pee during my break. Still same old naked dude there. We'd be closing up and I'd have to go clear out any stragglers in the men's locker room. That old dude is finally putting his clothes on to leave. It was really f***ing weird. I was leaving the other day for the showers and a girl, maybe 21, never spoken to her before, comes off the treadmill to speak to me and the following conversation ensued. Huh? Are you going back to your car? Me. Yes. Huh? Are you parked at the one you have to pay for? Me. You have to pay for all of them. Huh? Is it the one outside? Not multi-stories. Me. There's 4 that are outside. Huh? Is it far? Me. Explain the location to try and progress the conversation to a conclusion. Huh? Okay then. Don't worry. Me. Bye. No context. No nothing. To this day I can't figure out what her angle was, but it was very weird. Edit. Seems she was either flirting, getting stalked, or trying to find the driver she hit. I'll take those odds. There's a regular at my gym who always gets stares. She's pretty much built like a stick and she's an older woman in her mid-50s. I've seen her a couple of times doing this workout. She literally spends no more than 30-45 seconds on each machine and does them with the worst form I've ever seen in my life as fast as she possibly can. For example, on the cable pull down, she'll pull the handle to her neck level, let it raise to about nose level and pull it down again. She'll do this move of about 3-4 of motion just as fast as she possibly can for about 30-45 seconds. Then she'll move as fast as she can to the leg press, which she'll fully extend her legs, and with her legs nearly extended she'll just bounce the weight over and over. At no point does she return anywhere close to the start position until she's done after another 30-45 seconds. Then she'll go to the treadmill or the rowing machine or something and do that with the worst possible form. After about 5 minutes, she's done and she'll quit and leave. A woman who measures 2 meters lifts a dwarf as if he were a weight. I cannot make the jump. You'll have to toss me. I was running on the treadmill and there was this scruffy guy all hunched down like 3 treadmills away, and he kept loudly muttering to himself, "You can do it. You got this," and making weird noises. He kept doing it for like 20 minutes. At first I was like annoyed cause he was rather loud and it was weird, but after about 10 minutes I distractedly started thinking to myself, I can do this. I got this. He was unintentionally inspiring to me. I swear my gym is actually a gateway into the Fae. One time I saw a fit man with impeccable flowing locks stare himself down in the mirror. He just kept saying yes and growling a bunch. Then he went over to the stretching area and did what could only be described as jazzercise while listening to aggressive hip hop on his headphones so loud I could hear it from the squat rack. Periodically, he'd holler out grunts and hype sounds and curse words with the music. I'm pretty sure he was a lynx in a human body. One time I'm on the bench and I hear 2 dudes. "You look f***ing amazing, bro. You're the best looking dude in this gym." "Nah, you are, bro." I turn around after a set, and they're identical twins. There's this old guy who wears a toupee to the gym. It's hideous. Like he decided when he bought his wig I'll be ginger now. But he's like a swarthy Mediterranean white dude. When he works out, the toupee wax that affixes it to his bald skull melts and runs down the sides of his head. He never seems to mind. NSFW. Moving to a new place. No friends nightlife. So went to the gym twice a day. One night I was closing the place down with a swim and was almost the last person in the building. Nobody in the locker room. But I could hear a shower on. Walked into the shower and assumed that some shat had just left it on. As I got closer though, I saw a shadow. I just went into the shower stall I was adjacent to. Men's shower, so no doors. There was a man there leaning hard against the wall with a hard-on out front and one hand reaching down behind his back. When I turned on my shower he froze. Turned facing me in shock. And I watched a 10-inch DLDO flop out of his butt and hang between his legs. He then proceeded to drop it and awkwardly try to kick it to the side so I wouldn't see it when he picked it up. I can't unsee it. Not really weird. But this huge guy was weightlifting at the gym I frequent and he farted. And it was the longest fart I've ever heard. Like at least 30 seconds long. He couldn't stop giggling like a little girl. And then everyone else started laughing and clapping like he just performed a theater piece. It was surreal. I was doing bench presses, had no headphones on, and there were these two dudes talking about what kind of PRN they like. You'd think they'd whisper this, but no. It was just casual talking. Then this one dude says he can't get it up naturally anymore, so he'd been experimenting with pills to see which one would work for him. I had to move to another bench after that. Skeleton of a man was psyching himself up for a 225-pound squat. Deep breaths. Out grunting. And smelling salts included. Proceeded to get under the bar. Squatted what seemed less than a half rep, more like a quarter rep with bad form. Re-racked the weight. And proceeded to yell. FCK yeah. As if he was at a powerlifting meet. I think he had too much pre-workout imho. Edit. Because I'm getting harassed for being an asshole that was judging someone in the gym. Thanks for the PM's death threats, random people. Note. I was not judging him. I just made an observation and thought about how he was super amped up. Honestly. Respect to that dude for attempting to squat that weight. He could tone it down slightly, but props to him for the attempted squat. A football team were training in the pool. As I approached it to swim laps, they began yelling out what they wanted to do to me. Gym staff immediately asked them to leave. When their coach apologized to me and asked me to ask gym staff to reconsider their decision. Good on the gym staff for jumping on that ht, and double good on you for not letting it fly. FCKM. As a wise man once said, the gym has two types of people. Men 65 and older. And guys who cover their dicks. Maybe it's an age thing. But do not talk to me in a locker room. Frankly. Don't talk to me at all. But especially in the locker room. If my dong is exposed to open air. That is not a time for a conversation about gas prices. Also. Perhaps not weird. But definitely not expected. A few years ago I was super intense of going to the gym. I went 5 days a week. Had a personal trainer. The whole deal. At one point. I was getting off the treadmill. And a guy stopped me saying he had seen me at the gym before and could notice a marked difference in my physique and that I was working out really well and shed a lot of weight in like 6 months. I thanked him. Mentioned some things I did. And moved on. But I always remember the random compliments that made me keep going. I like to go after lunch, so I skip the lunch crowd and it's enough time to work out before the after work crowd rolls in. Usually it's just old folks and gym rats at that time, so it's great. There's this elderly man that wears khakis, a button-down shirt, and a sweater vest while working out. A buddy of mine went up to a girl who had been hitting the Stairmaster pretty hard. She was really grinding and sweating, so what was his pickup line? "Hi. You're really wet." They got married. Edit. Jesus got popular. Now I have to tell him his story is literally the most popular comment I've ever made. He got the girl. I got the updates. There's this guy that does interval training on the treadmill hilariously wrong. It looks like he's trying to imitate Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. Imagine someone upping the speed on the treadmill so much that they have to hold onto the railings to keep from flying off. That's how this guy sprints on the treadmill. The stride of his legs is ridiculous as well. His heels are legit halfway up his back on each stride. That reminds me of this jokey run I used to do as a kid where I'd kick myself in the ass with each step. Just because it was fun. I was asked if I worship the devil while getting changed one time. I have a tattoo between my shoulder blades the guy thought was satanic paired with my back hair. I just responded with what a strange ass question. He then pivoted my necklace and asked if he could have it. He walked off after I said no. Edit. This comment has as many upvotes as any piece of art I've ever posted here. I think I'm doing something wrong. Ha 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 ha. There's a kid at the gym that always shows up with his mom. He's maybe 11-13. The mom is fine. The kid. F-king unsettlingly weird. He always walks on the treadmill next to mom. But never walks forward. He walks sideways or backwards. But that's not the weird thing. He will lock eyes with anyone who looks at him and just stare. This goes on the entire time. I'm a dude and he'll stare at women or men. Doesn't matter. So I don't think it's a puberty thing. It feels like a horror movie in there. I saw a dude get kicked out of a Planet Fitness for lighting up a cigarette. I used to go to the gym with my dad and I called him dad while we were talking there. Because, well, he's my dad. So this random woman comes to me in a very nasty and demeaning tone and says, why the hell do you keep calling that man Ossadad? I was like, cause he's my dad? And she was like, yeah. But you don't have to call him that at the gym. It's weird. And I said, why is it weird? He is literally my father, and she was like, oh. Okay, and left. I went to the gym at 3 in the morning once. As I'm walking to the weights to do barbell curls, I notice a man prancing to one of the shoulder press machines. Not walking. Prancing. He then steps on top of it and starts dancing on the machine for about 30 seconds and then does the workout. After this he starts skipping over to the dip machine, dancing around the whole thing before again doing the workout. Then he stands in the middle of the gym and starts shaking his ass to a tune. These dance moves went on for about 40 minutes. The kicker? There was no music playing in the gym and he had no headphones. I asked my buddy who worked there what this guy's deal was. I was told by him and a co-worker that he refuses to look at people because he thinks they'll steal his soul through their eyes. He's a frequent at the gym and everybody usually just tries to stay away from him. Edit. Whoa. Most upvoted comment by far. Thanks Reddit. Edit 2. Thanks for the silver. Climbed on a treadmill and started walking to warm up. I usually do intervals where I walk quickly for some time, then jog, then go back to walking. I'm the only one on a treadmill in a row of 8 in a pretty empty cardio section. Guy walks up and sets up right next to me, instead of any other treadmill. Then he proceeds to try to race me. On the treadmill, I had my headphones in listening to music, but I turned it off because I had to listen to this man start to grunt and then holler. Curse. He's going full sprint. Sweat streaming off of him. Splashing the treadmill. Splashing me. But he couldn't let me win. He had to beat me. Petty revenge, but I stayed walking on that treadmill for much longer than I normally do. I like to think I helped him set a personal best. He didn't clean that treadmill after he staggered off too. Dirty bastard. A 50-year-plus man was discreetly following a very fit and attractive early 20s girl to all the machines she was using, then sniffing the seat after she used the machine. I saw him do it a few times, then I walked over to him and said, "You're a f***ing creep, you know that?" He looked at me extremely surprised and shocked, then quickly left the gym. As if he thought nobody would see him doing that. This massive roided out hulk of a person was doing bench press. He's just yelling the entire time he's putting up the weight. Something like that. Suddenly he racks the bar loud as can be and is screaming at his spotter. "You ruined my whole set. You ruined my whole set." I was going till failure. He then walks over to the wall and puts both hands on the wall and shrieks in anger. Like Hneeg. Then storms off to the locker room. Literally everyone in the free weights section had stopped to watch this unfold. This fat guy who looks like Tony Soprano, but twice as hairy, is always in the changing room butt naked. No matter what time of day I go to the gym, he's there and naked. He just sits there, sweaty. Only time he puts a towel on is when he's in the sauna or sometimes the steam room. Because that's the rules. Anyway. One time I came to the gym kinda late. I finish a workout and go to the steam room and he's in there chilling. I didn't recognize him at first because it's so steamed out. After a few minutes he strikes up a convo with me. He's Greek. Owns a successful restaurant. Semi-retired, etc. Pretty cool guy. I didn't even realize he was butt naked until he got up to leave the steam room. He stopped to say one last thing before he left. His dick was head height at that point. I was sitting down. And it really wasn't chill.